Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode here in the lovely World of Raccoons with me, Vanillaraccoon. Heyo! And in this episode, you guys, I honestly don't really have a plan or any form of an agenda to follow. I've been meaning to make a new World of Raccoons Let's Play for you all, but the ideas, unfortunately, have been surging and popping around in my head, and when it came to figuring out which idea I wanted to grab and begin working on, I kind of got a little overwhelmed with that. So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna hop into this lovely world, pull up my OBS, hit the record button, and then record a little intro, and then once I was done, begin to get my build on, and whatever it is that I decided to get my build on, that would be the content of that video, or this video. Yes, I think my first trail of thought with that wording was correct. Oh look, there's a piggy wig in the tree now, along with a horse. That is like Ralph Macchio, which is Nobody's LP's horse over on Decidedly Vanilla. But anywho, you guys, just a quick little snippet just to catch things up to par from the previous episode in this one. Oh yeah, first things first. I found my diamond armor. Remember how in the previous episode I was telling you all that I was having a hard time finding my elite tools and weapons, and then I found an ender chest and I was like, let me just open it and see if it was in there, and lo and behold, they were. Well, your boy V, me, Vanilla, Van, Vanillaraccoon, Corn Man, Smurf, any other nicknames that I've managed to obtain over the past year and some pocket change. I completely forgot to check my new signature starter house. Not simple, because it's not simple, it's intermediate is what I would classify this. But who opened my door? Says the guy playing on a single player world, asking about who opened his door. But yeah, I completely forgot to come over to my signature starter house and look inside, because right here, as soon as I walked inside, I saw it and I was like, I'm such a dummy. But like I said, you guys, I really have no plan for this episode. I don't have an agenda to follow. Ow, my shins. And I think what I would probably, if I'm gonna have to pick anything, if I'm gonna have to pull a rabbit out of a hat, I'm probably gonna continue to work around this this cattle area, because I would like to actually establish a ranch, so to speak, although this is going to be following my fantasy theme, because after all, this is a fantasy themed village that is a work in progress. But I'm just taking my time because I don't want to rush into things and then feel overwhelmed. I used to do that and never more bueno. But I would like to at some point establish a nice little small field that we can have our cattle roam about, and then this be the house where the farmer comes to and such. And in my World of Raccoons Let's Build world, I did some tinkering around lately as to how I want the surrounding area for this house and the hay bale stacked on top of one another is to look like. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and actually begin to work on that, and I guess we'll say that is what this episode is gonna be about. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm going to get my build on, and I'll see you guys in a moment. So we got some cobblestone cooking in our furnaces, and my microphone is a little too low. I'm just going to raise it up, so if you hear any muffling, that's what that is. But like I was saying, we have some cobblestone cooking in the furnace, so that way we can have some stone. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to just bring it back and show you all what I've been doing. And also in the previous clip, if I remember correctly, I had said, let me go ahead and show you what was done off camera and what's been changed. And then I got distracted by finding my armor and telling you the tale. But the one thing that I did off camera in between the previous episode and this one was, you may have even seen it at the beginning of this episode as well in the first segment, was that I placed some dark oak fence gates facing towards the dark oak vertical pillars, and then I had them propped open. And originally I had done that to show some support So that way, people wouldn't go, well, geez, what's holding up the horizontal dark oak pillars? And then, as I continued to walk around this area and begin to do some work, I kind of thought that was a little too much in regards to detailing, so I just removed it. But, moving on to what we have here is a pathway. Now, this pathway goes out in total of 5, but then I started to curve it, and I gotta tell you guys, I am not the best when it comes to curving pathways. However, there is something called Bing, and all I did was I went on the Bing and I typed in how to curve pathways in Minecraft, and I came across an image that showed a pathway that was 3 in width, which is what we have going on right here. And just to give you guys a little bit of a visual representation, let's go ahead and use dark oak for this. So it showed at the very last part of your pathway before you begin to curve it, you want to go all the way. If in this instance, since we're curving it to the right, I wanted to go ahead and place another block right here, and then just envision a 3x3 grid like this. Well, actually, no, let's go ahead and remove it so it can be shown much better. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then 3. And then right here in this lower corner, which would be the top right, well, in this corner, which is the top right for this 3x3 grid, this would then become the lower left corner for this new 3x3 grid. And what I mean by that is just doing something like this once more. So let's go ahead and remove these so we don't get confused. Building tips with Vanillaraccoon. And so yeah, we now have a new 3x3 area. And then right about here is where we would go ahead and just begin our new pathway, because if we can, I think we can, let's go ahead and try and get a bird's eye view, so to speak. Let's go back 1, 2, and then 3 on the third block, begin the scaffold upwards, and let's go up a total of 8. Okay, so as you can tell, it looks for the most part fairly symmetrical, where what we did over here on this side will look nearly, if not the exact same, over here for this pathway. Now, what I have going on is this pathway is going to be going downhill, and I'm thinking of connecting it to that pathway over there. However, I'm not entirely sure if I want to, and if I really want to, I'm not entirely sure as to how I'm going to do it. But that's the beauty of Minecraft, where it's a game where you can test the waters. No, that's not the right saying to use here. This is a game where you can go ahead, if you can envision it, you can build it. There's a little knockoff from Walt Disney saying, if you can dream it, you can achieve it. I think that's what Walt Disney's one of his famous sayings is. But also, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have this pathway curve around here, because right over here I would like to have some form of a garden area and also a place where I can have my crops growing, because right now I'm living off of the crops that I planted over at the duck ponds right over there. Oh, look, there's a piggy wig. Oh, there's 2 piggy wigs, but it appears to be getting to be nighttime. Oh, that's a beautiful view. Would you look at that view? But it appears to be getting nighttime, and I don't want to be recording at night, let alone working at night. So let me go ahead, get a snooze job, continue to get my build on, and after this quick commercial break, we'll have a bit of a progress update for you all. I just got back in from doing a walk with my dog, and then once I started to look at what I've already done and looked at the duration of the previous 2 segments, I thought to myself, why don't we go ahead and record the next segment here and now, and let's make it a building segment. So, in the event that you guys are wondering as to how I went about composing this luscious pathway that is composed of cobblestone, mossy cobblestone, and gravel, I thought I would go ahead and demonstrate it to you on camera. So, right here, right off the bat, we have stone blocks laid down. However, in this resource pack, there's a few different shades of gray. You may say that there's even 50 shades of gray going on here. But where the darker shades of gray are at, like here and in this line right here, along with this giant chunk right here, this is where I'm going to be digging it up and just swapping it with cobblestone. And although this is going to be a straight line, I may actually come back and touch that up, but that depends on how the rest of this comes out. Now, once I've gone ahead and excavated all of the darker shades of gray and replaced those stone blocks with cobblestone, I'm then gonna grab my mossy cobblestone, and this is where it can get a little bit tricky, where if you're using this resource pack, a little taste of germ, or one that is similar that has various shades of gray to the stone blocks, you may have to, like, I don't want to say get too close to your computer screen, because like sitting too close to the TV, I think that's bad for your eyes. Maybe that's why I have to wear glasses / contacts now. But anywho, so as you can tell, we then have a lesser dark variant of the stone block, but it's a little hard to make out from the others. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but like, for example, right here, this stone block is slightly darker than this one, but it's not as dark as the ones that we just removed. So those shades of dark gray stone blocks are where I'm going to remove and then just replace them with mossy cobblestone. And like I said, this can be a little tricky, but I guess maybe I'm used to just staring at stone blocks with this resource pack on to help identify which stone block is of a particular shade of gray. And let's go ahead, and I'm going to leave that one as it is just to have some more variation going on. Now, for the remaining stone blocks, I'm going to go ahead and just swap them out and place gravel in their place. And let's just go ahead and just lay this down. Oh, there's only 2 more. Okay, how convenient. Now, once I've done all of that, let's go ahead and just place you in our inventory, not on the bar. So once I've done that, I'm then going to take a step back, and I may even go ahead and get a bird's eye view as to so I can get a better look as to what I have just done. And once I've done that, let's go into theater mode. I'm then going to pick out various places that I may want to mix up the variation that we have going on here. So right off the bat, the first thing that's grabbing my attention is right there. Ooh, that's a little hard to see because it's a lot of pixels in one area. Excuse me if you heard that burp. I'm still drinking my morning coffee, and it's already 15:48 Eastern Standard Time. But I digress. So right there seems to be a lot of the same gravel texture going on, and in this resource pack, cobblestone, mossy cobblestone, and gravel have a bit of variation to them. So I'm gonna go ahead, I think I'm gonna swap out when it comes to, well, we have a lot of mossy textures right here. Actually, 1 2 3 4 5 no. So we have 5, well, this is a gravel block, but we have 5 gravel blocks that are fairly close, and when it comes to the pixels and such and the texture, they all look fairly similar, and I don't want to have that going on. So I think what I will do is I'm going to swap out this gravel block, I got a flint from it, okay, with a cobblestone block, and then I'm going to swap out, I got another flint, this gravel block with a flint. Why am I grabbing? Oh, because we have Fortune 3 on it. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Well, maybe I want to grab a different shovel. Maybe the one that just has unbreaking efficiency, not Fortune on it. But for the most part now, this looks a little bit easier on the eyes. To me, at least, for my eyes and everything. My old age and such, I would prefer it to be a little easier. But now that we have this, now that we patched that up, right now over here, like what we had going on over there, we have a lot of cobblestone blocks, and I think I'm going to break it up. So where we have duplicates of a cobblestone texture, for example, this texture is the exact same as this one, I think I'm going to go ahead and actually, no, we have mossy cobblestone right around them. So I'm going to replace this cobblestone block with a gravel block, and then these 3 cobblestone blocks, 1 2 and 3, are the exact same. So just to add some more variation and break things up a bit, I'm gonna go ahead, is that a gravel? Yes, it is. I'm gonna actually throw down a mossy cobblestone. Let's go ahead and throw it down right here. There we go. And then excuse me, there we go, my scrolly on my mouse is acting up again, good gravy. And then this is a gravel block, right? Yes, it is. So I'm gonna then just, this is gonna be a little bit tricky. I'm going to go ahead and break this one cobblestone block and replace it with gravel. And there we go. That is how I go about composing, not composing, that's how I go about creating these little pathways that you see in the lovely World of Raccoons, and also on the decidedly vanilla in my base area. So I think with that all being said, now I'm going to finish up this area and I'm going to then bring it back and we're going to conclude this episode, because I would like to get this episode out sometime during the prime time hours, but considering it's now 15:51, I'm probably going to get this out sometime around 1900 or a little after that. So I'll see you guys when we're ready to end the episode. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time where we must begin to conclude this episode. But before we go ahead and do so, I just want to say right off the bat that I think every once in a while I'm going to go ahead and just wake up, do my things that I need to do in real life, and then get ready to record a new video for you all, and not really have a plan or have an agenda to follow, because for the most part I'm really happy with how this episode is turning out to be. And with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at what I went ahead and did in between the previous segment and this one. Now, right off the bat, as you can tell, I went ahead and decided to connect that pathway over there with the pathway that leads up to here. And considering this pathway is only 2 blocks in width, whereas this pathway is 3 blocks in width, connecting the two at first was a little bit difficult, I'm going to admit. But then I realized, you know what? Considering we have this little slab and stair job going on right here, in my mind at least, I was kind of thinking, well, you know what? If someone else were to be walking down this pathway, they may want to go do something like that. Whereas instead of just going down the stairs and going abruptly from one block level to the next, they can just casually go from this block level to this one. But in the event that they were going to be turning their head or just adjusting their course, so to speak, they can go ahead and go bloop bloop and then bloop bloop. Now, like what I did when it came to composing the pathway over there and applying variation and such, I did that as well over here. But you can tell I did some minor detailing, and what I mean by that is, well, I simply took some cobblestone stairs and replaced cobblestone blocks that I thought were a little too much, and just, yeah, laid down a cobblestone stair. And I think this adds a little bit more to the atmosphere in this area. It helps, at least with the detailing for sure. And I went ahead and did that for the pathway back here. And I even just laid down some cobblestone stairs underneath our patio that we have right here. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what I did when it comes to the duck pond over here. Considering that I wanted this to be where I would come and harvest my food for the day, Minecraft day, not in real life, because if I were to spend a whole day in real life sitting here and doing some work, I would need a much larger garden. But that's beside the point. I thought, you know what, let's go ahead and plant enough seeds so that we can harvest enough wheat to make 2 hay bale bales, and then have enough potatoes planted so that way we can have enough to cook, preferably 8, but I mean not preferably 8, preferably 16, but at the least 8 potatoes. That way I don't have to worry about wasting any coal, because a little fun fact in case you did not know, 1 single coal and or charcoal will smelt a total of 8 things. So that's kind of why I'm always, when I watch other people's Minecraft Let's Plays and I see them only cook 5 things with a coal, I'm like, you're wasting the fuel! But I digress. And then I just also sprinkled in some carrots, because eventually in this lovely world, I do plan on building a gold XP farm over in the Nether. Now, in the event that you missed one of the latest DVLPs to go out on this channel, BJW, who is the latest addition to the Decidedly Vanilla team, he and I spent a whole weekend creating a monster of a farm that produces gold and XP in the Nether. And if you missed that DVLP, then I highly encourage you to check it out through the power of YouTube cards at the top right corner of your screen. One will be appearing right now that will take you to it. And then also I just placed some sugarcane. That way it looks a little more that way we can have a little more overgrowth going on. I was trying to come up with a word to say and then follow up with friendly. I was going to say eco-friendly, but that's a completely different thing as well. But before we go ahead and end this episode, first off, I would like to do, in a way, to say thank you to Germ, who is an amazing YouTuber who actually has a pretty interesting way of building, I'm going to admit. I think it's a little interesting and funny as to how he approaches building in Minecraft. Maybe that's because I see a little bit of me inside of what he does, and it's kind of funny to watch it through, I guess, in a third-person view. And I know it's getting to be nighttime. Let's actually just go ahead and quickly get a snooze job so then we can make it the day. And as you can tell, I went into game mode 1. That way I can also get the other person's head that I'm going to get into in a moment. But as a way to say thank you to Germ for creating an awesome resource pack that may be similar to that of B00100, but does have its own unique twist and everything. Thank you, man, for once again creating an awesome resource pack. Now, to get on with the previous World of Raccoons Let's Play, I took a moment to say, if you can tell the difference between this segment and all the other ones, I'll be sure to reward you in the next World of Raccoons Let's Play. And I think I'm going to be doing this not often, but ever so often. I think I'll do this, where I'll take a moment and say, if you can spot the difference, leave it in the comment section, or I may ask you a quote-unquote question of the day, and whoever has the most informative answer to that question, then I'll reward you in the same manner. But core princess, not the princess, because that would be my beautiful baby girl, my pit bull terrier mix puppy. Well, she's almost 3 years old, but she'll always be my little girl, my little puppy in my eyes. But to thank Princess for participating in the previous WRLP question and actually getting it sort of right. I'm not gonna say how he was sort of right, but he was sort of right. I'm gonna go ahead and welcome to the World of Raccoons, man. So where I'm gonna place your player head on an armor standout, I think I'll do so. Let's place you right on over here. Yeah, we're going to place you right over here, just glancing out at the duck pond. I know, Germ and Core are currently in their birthday suits, but I will be getting some armor so that they won't be completely full frontal. And yeah, with that being said, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you all ever so much for tuning in. And remember, if you like what you see, then please give that like button a hug and subscribe for the latest buzz. And if you had a blast with a good laugh, then make sure you favorite this video and share with a friend or two. But until next time, peeps, this is Vanillaraccoon with 2 full frontal peeps in the back. Peace out. Don't drop the soap.